Hello and welcome to this vlog. Now this video requires a little bit of a preface because it's slightly different to my usual style of vlogs in that it is sponsored. So in the interest of full transparency, I need to let you know that this video has been sponsored by Made, the furniture brand, whom I'm sure many of you are already familiar with, and it features some gifting from Lick, the paint brand. It also requires an introduction so that I can let you know what it's all about, because it has been filmed over the course of about 4 to 5 weeks in a diary style, this vlog. So without an introduction it wouldn't really make sense. As many of you know, I moved at the beginning of November, and about 3 or 4 weeks after I moved, I received a very lovely email from Made asking me if any of the rooms within my new place could benefit from a little bit of TLC, a little bit of a makeover basically. And for the most part, when I moved in, the flat was perfect. Everything was painted either white or a very neutral colour. Everything was in great condition, and I didn't have any huge changes I want to make in any of the spaces, apart from the dining room. I had a few issues there. The first issue being that I didn't have a single piece of furniture. So that was an issue, and B, it was painted a very warm toned white. I will insert images here of how the space looked when I first moved in so you can see for yourself. The walls were painted with this very strong sort of peachy pink undertone, and along with the warm tone wooden floor and the warm tone kitchen cabinets, it just created an overly warm space that I didn't particularly like. So I replied back to Made very promptly and was like, yes, the dining space is a priority at the moment, because not only was I eager to have a space where I could eat, I was also eager to have a space where I could work from, because I usually, as you can see in the background there, you can see my computer, I do use my dining space to work in as well. So it's like a dual purpose space. So I really wanted to get this space sorted ASAP. And it was a very easy process. I just had a video call with Made, a sort of hour-long consultation talking all things dining room. They went away, put together a mood board of things, sort of like a vibe that they thought I would like. I sort of said yes and no to several pieces, and then it was all systems go from there basically. So what you'll see now is I think I started filming in the middle of December, and it goes right up until now basically. So it sort of chops and changes through different dates. So yeah, I'll let you watch that bit, and then I'll see you on the other side for an outro.
If you just get started, then. Sure. Ta-da!
Ta-da!
It's very nice, isn't it?
My dining chairs have just arrived, which is exciting because I've had a dining table without any chairs for a few days, and Christmas is fast approaching, and for a moment I thought I wasn't going to have anything to sit on for Christmas Day. They're here, so I'm going to open them up. Apologies for the mess under the table. I've got a lot of hoovering to do after unpacking all of those chairs. So these are the Kendall chair in the black finish. I've got 6. I've never had a dining table this big that requires 6 chairs. It's amazing. I currently am working from the dining table because I really like the light in this room. I love sitting in here, so it's nice to work from here. And also, my office space is nowhere near ready to be sat in or worked in, so this is kind of my only option at the moment. But what I like about the size of this dining table is I can have that desktop on there, and I've still got plenty of room for people to sit around the table if I was hosting or if I had a friend over. I've just pulled one of them out so you can see them a bit better. They came as one piece, no assembly required. This curve here, you can't really tell on camera, comes up quite high. So when you actually sit in the chair, I'll try and show you, this sort of hugs your hips quite nicely. Like you feel quite, is snug the right word? I feel just quite cuddled by the chair. Maybe that's the word I'm looking for. But on first impressions, very comfy and feel very sturdy. Hello, it's New Year's Eve now. I've got my painting clothes on because I'm spending this afternoon painting the dining room. Unfortunately, because of the lockdown that we're now in and just the rise of COVID cases, the job of painting the dining room is now down to me. And it's quite a big space and it's going to need several layers of paint, especially the wood panelling, which I need to undercoat before glossing. So I have roped in Dean to help me because I think if I do this all on my own, first of all, I don't think I'll be able to reach the ceiling. I need an exceptionally tall ladder and a roller, which I think I'd really struggle with. And I'll just be here for days and days and days. It would easily take me a whole week, I think, to do it on my own. So Dean is helping me today to try and just cut down some of the time that it will take to paint. So hopefully in the next few days I'll have a brand spanking new painted dining room. So as part of the collaboration with Made have partnered up with Lick to help me spruce up the dining room. To be honest, I'm not really doing anything that exciting. At the moment the dining room is a sort of very odd peachy colour. Hold on, I'm going to just get this out and then show you. As I was saying, the dining room currently is an off-white colour, but it has a kind of pink peach undertone to it, which creates this really warm glow in the room that I'm not a massive fan of. I still want it to be slightly off-white, but I want it to be a little cooler, so I've picked White 04, which is described as a soft linen white with grey undertones. It looks really yellow on that swatch there, but I think it's because the tin is slightly blue looking, so next to each other that's making that look really yellow. I can assure you, IRL, it is not magnolia. It is much more grey. Right, I need to get cracking. The painting is finally finished after about 5 full days. I've completed. It's taken me such a long time because I only had Dean helping me the first day, and this space, it probably doesn't look it on camera, but it's really big and there's a lot to paint, and the walls needed matte while the wood needed eggshell, so there was 2 different types of paint going on. Yeah, it was just a lot of up and down a ladder and a lot of switching paintbrush to roller. Anyway, it's done now and I'm really, really pleased with it. A good way to sort of illustrate the tone of the grey is, if you look at the coving at the top here, that's a true white. This is White 04 from Lick. As you can see, it is grey toned, but it's a very soft, slightly chalky grey. And what I think will be lovely is when I start to bring in some warmer elements into this room, it will offset the grey very nicely, because at the moment I've got black chairs, dark table, black fireplace, a black planter over there. There's a lot of dark elements, so I think I need to bring in some more beige tones, some lighter tones. So that picture is there just for some photos that I'm taking for Made, and I think I will replace that with something much bigger, because this space is just massive and it can really take a much bigger image, and something that's got some beige tones in it and something with an ash coloured frame, I think, because frames, I think, are a really great way to transform the way light sort of travels around the room and the way in which it can lift a room or kind of like bring it down. And I feel like this picture has a little bit too much black on it, so I will probably swap that out for something more beige, like I said, put something on that wall there, and then I need to find some lights as well. Oh, I've got a rug as well, which I wasn't sure about at first, but I think that's because I've never really been a rug person, if I'm honest. I get that rugs are a lovely way to tie spaces together. They create a more cosy feel, especially if you've got a wooden floor. They're very good at softening noise and like the echo that you get in rooms like this. But I actually really like it. I'm getting used to it now, and I must admit when I'm sat at the table, because I do work from this table quite a lot, it is quite nice to have a rug under my feet. At the moment I'm just building a rattan chair that is going to go here, because this space here, like this is a 6-seater dining table. If I back up here, I've still got all this floor space and this lovely window. So thinking I can create a little sort of nook here with this rattan chair. I'm really pleased with the progress so far. I just need to do a lot of dressing, and I need to bring in some more, I think natural elements will really help with this space, because I am a big fan of minimal, but I'm not necessarily a big fan of lots of black and white. I like things to feel warm in a room, so I think I need to bring in some, you know, more stuff like this, just more stoneware, like I said, more beige tones. I've just finished shooting the images for the landing page on the Made website when all of this will go live, and thought I'd just show you it in all its glory. What was I going to say? I'll do a proper outro actually, where I'll talk about the finished product. But what I realised is I foolishly didn't do a side-by-side comparison of Lick Y04 against the colour that the room was painted previously. However, I have just realised that the inside of these cupboards is still painted the original colour. That's a really good comparison actually. So on the left here you can see Y04, and on the right here is the colour that the entire room was painted in. And when you kind of look at it on its own, just like that, it doesn't look too warm toned. As soon as you compare it to something that's a lot more of a truer white, it looks very pink. It actually doesn't look too pink on the viewfinder, but in real life it is very peachy toned. And as you can imagine, the entire room painted in this colour, along with my warm toned floorboards, the warm toned kitchen cabinets, everything was a little bit too warm. So I'm really pleased with the new colour, and I think it looks really dull at the moment, but that's just the time of year. Like, this room does get quite a lot of light in the afternoon, but we haven't had many sunny days, and also the sun is so low at the moment that I don't get the light in here for very long. This is really boring, but out the window here, you can see that building there. So the sun goes right behind that building at the moment because the sun is so low. So I only get light in this room in the afternoon when the sun's there and when it's there. So as the days get longer and the sun gets higher, I'm hoping the sun will completely bypass that building and go right over it. So in the afternoons, because the sun comes round at the moment about 1 o'clock, so late afternoons, I'm hoping I'll get some really, really nice light in here as we get closer and closer to summer. And then this space here is reserved for my desktop computer, but I took it away just for photo purposes. But you can see plenty of room to dine this end, and then plenty of room to work at this end. Anyway, I think I'm going to call it a day there and do the outro. And I'm back. I hope you enjoyed watching that video. I certainly enjoyed putting it together. So a big thank you to Made for sponsoring this video. It was nice to do something a little bit different than my usual style of vlogs. I would love to know what your favourite piece is in the room. Mine has definitely got to be the dining table, I'd say. I think I've mentioned this already in the vlog probably. I've never had a dining table so big. I've never been able to say I've got a 6-seater dining table, so it's really nice to have such a statement piece in the room. And I also really like the elevated planters. I'm so used to having plants on ground level, so it's really nice to have plants elevated, especially when I'm sat down. It's nice to have the plants at eye level. I also love the reading corner that we created, especially when the sun comes round and hits this room directly. It creates a little sun trap there in the corner, so it's very nice to sit and read, and I think that'll be really nice in the summer months as well. When working with Made on this project, as I previously mentioned, I really wanted to focus on creating a dual purpose space that I was both comfortable to dine in and work in. And I think I've successfully created that here. I've certainly enjoyed doing those both things in this space over the past week. I'd say my interior taste is a real mix of minimal, a bit of mid-century, but there's always this overarching Scandinavian influence over everything. So everything feels very classic, very timeless, and works together really nicely and creates a very harmonious space that I really enjoy being in. So I think I'm going to wrap it up there. Thank you again to Made, thank you to Lick, and thank you all of you for watching.